Hello everyone, and welcome to my Bold and Beautiful Today channel. Hope Logan remained silent regarding Steffy Forrester's hidden revelation. This is how Monday's B&B episode unfolded when Sheila Sharp also cut off Bill Spencer and Liam Spencer's, Scott Clifton, talk. Hope wanted to get in touch with additional experts and find a way to assist Liam at Brooke Logan's house. Steffy countered that there was nothing they could do because they had already received a lot of comments. The idea of informing Beth and Kelly Spencer that their father would no longer be living with them caused Hope to struggle once more. After their previous altercation at the Spencer estate, Bill and Liam exchanged apologies at Il Giardino. Liam had something to say to Bill: "Life is too short to get caught up in a quarrel." Sheila interrupted Liam before he could continue by praising Bill for pardoning Luna Nozawa. Despite Liam's complaints regarding Luna's manipulation of the paternity test, Sheila understood that Bill must find it difficult to stop feeling protective of her. Sheila left and allowed Liam to resume his talk with Bill after implying that perhaps there was still time for Luna and John Finnegan. Liam spoke about how much he admired his father, and Bill worried what he would say. Bill broke down in tears and claimed he couldn't picture his life without Liam after Liam praised him for helping shape him into the man he is today. Liam got up to go after Hope texted him to meet up. In the end, Bill informed Liam that he would not accept his son's departure from Spencer Publications and grinned as Liam guided them into the future. After that, Liam returned to Brooke's house and had a lovely chat with Hope about how wonderful Beth was. Hope said that she felt as though she had taken Liam and their love for granted after reflecting on their chats. Liam disagreed, pointing out that they had both committed mistakes. Liam pulled Hope into an embrace as they both tried to conceal their tears as he said that he would always be with her in one way or another. At the Cliff home, Luna made a pitch to Finn, but Hope remained silent about learning of Liam's ill news. Luna pleaded with Finn not to allow his wife to keep them apart since she believed Steffy was the issue. Finn said his family was the most important thing to him and that he wouldn't do anything to bring misery for Steffy. Steffy entered the room after Finn made it apparent that a relationship was not on the table and that Luna could not return. Steffy demanded to know what Luna was doing there, looking astonished and enraged. Keep checking back for more on Luna's response as the bold and the beautiful spoilers indicate that Steffy will make some ferocious predictions regarding Luna being permanently cut off from Finn's life. Hope struggles, Luna busted, and Bill's heart-to-heart. Bill's heart-to-heart, Luna busted, Hope struggles recap Monday, May 12th. Now available at last is the Bill's heart-to-heart, Luna busted, Hope struggles recap for Monday, May 12th, 2025. Liam Spencer and Bill Spencer have a heart-to-heart in today's episode. In her house, Steffy Forrester Finnegan discovers Luna Nozawa. In addition, Hope Logan finds it difficult to accept Liam's diagnosis. Heart-to-heart by Bill Spencer. Bill and Liam settle down at Il Giardino. Regarding what transpired back at the house all those weeks ago, Bill sincerely apologizes. According to Liam, life is too short for them to argue. Sheila Carter Sharp cuts Liam off as he opens his mouth. Sheila gives Bill credit for assisting Luna. Sheila's granddaughter was transformed by his axe. According to Liam, the daughter is cuckoo and Bill is not Luna's father. Sheila believes that John Finnegan can still be a part of Luna's life. Liam tells Bill how much he admires him when Sheila trots off. As Liam speaks to Bill, he begins to feel emotional. Liam's remarks have left Bill unable to speak. He expresses gratitude to Liam. At this point, Liam tells his father that he loves him and that he would always remember it. It's Bill who's crying now. Liam's heartfelt remarks are appreciated by Bill. Hope sends Liam a text. Bill claims that he loves Lima and that he has improved as a man because of him. The resignation of Liam is rejected. Spencer Publications will be transformed by Liam. I hope Logan has a hard time. Hope is still with Steffy, and she has been informed of Liam's condition. Steffy makes it apparent that Liam does not want Hope or anybody else to know. Steffy shakes her head when the blonde offers further medical advice. As Hope considers telling the children about their father, she begins to cry. Although Steffy is aware of their difficulties, she felt entitled to know. They will overcome this together, Steffy assures them. Afterwards, Liam visits Hope. they discuss Jordan Lynn Ariza's character, Beth Spencer. Hope tells Liam that she took him for granted while crying. Hope is really sorry. Liam promises to be by her side no matter what. Both of them fight back tears as they embrace. Nozawa Luna's ambush. Luna is still pleading with Finn to be in her life at the Cliff House. The absence does make the doctor feel guilty. Finn believes that Luna would have benefited from his influence. But he can't allow her to be in his life. Luna accuses Steffi. Finn clarifies that he must defend his family because Steffi and the children are his top priorities. Although Luna understands Steffi's inability to forgive her, she implores Finn to change his mind. According to Finn, Luna is an adult who has committed heinous acts. When Steffi enters, she demands to know why Luna is in her house. Wyatt may return to Los Angeles as a result of Liam's terminal diagnosis. Liam Spencer's catastrophic brain tumor diagnosis may push his missing brother Wyatt back to Los Angeles for an emotional reunion before time runs out, according to spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful. Where is Wyatt? Brother may be bring home for a final goodbye due to Liam's terminal diagnosis. Is there ever a more tragic plot than seeing Liam Spencer confront his own mortality? With tissues in hand, we watch as the cherished Spencer's son battles an incurable brain tumor, but there is one obvious omission that is driving me completely insane. Where the hell is Wyatt? The Spencer brother is missing. Now, let me be clear, Liam is indeed dying, and his brother is missing. The same brother who saved Bill's life by donating a kidney? The same brother that supported Liam during all of his Steffi or Hope moments? This family reunion is long overdue, and I apologize. More than a year has passed since Darren Brooks last appeared on television as the endearing, witty Spencer's son, January 2024, to be precise. And although I understand that people move on with their life, leave town, etc., this is different. It's either life or death. Family is what this is. Behind the scenes, there has been substantial talk about bringing Wyatt back for this heartbreaking plot, according to my sources, who I trust. And truthfully? A final, heartfelt farewell from the Spencer brothers would be soap opera malpractice. The scenario of the ticking clock. According to the most recent mid-May teasers, Hope Logan is frantically holding on to hope while Bill Spencer must deal with his dying son on an emotional level. However, Liam's migraines and dizziness are becoming worse every day, so time is running out. Do you recall the moment when Dr. Finn broke the news that the medical staff was completely lost? I was crying all the time. Scott Clifton's portrayal of that silent destruction and his will to organize his affairs before time runs out is worthy of an Emmy. However, the plot still has this huge Wyatt-shaped gap in it. Remember, these brothers have experienced everything together. They had to traverse the challenging waters of being Bill Spencer's sons, from battling over women, sorry, but it's true, to learning they were brothers in the first place. One of the most genuine sibling relationships in soap opera history has been theirs. And nothing now, when it counts most? I don't believe it. The possible impact of a reunion. The repercussions would be enormous if, when Wyatt returns, since I don't think the authors would pass up this chance. Let's start by imagining the reunion situation. Two brothers meeting in person, carrying the silent burden of Liam's diagnosis? I'm reaching for more tissues just thinking about it. Beyond the heart-stopping scenes, however, Wyatt's reappearance might fundamentally alter the dynamics inside the Spencer family. Someone must take charge and assist Bill in keeping things together while Liam confronts his mortality. Let's face it, Wyatt has always been the more pragmatic of the two. Would he be able to play a bigger part at Spencer Publications? Present himself as the heir apparent to the Spencer family? Rekindle an old flame, perhaps? I am referring to you, Flo. Or is there a chance with a grieving Hope? The discussion on social media around that possibility has been incredibly intense. Why hadn't Bill given him a call? Why hasn't Bill answered the phone is the question that's driving me insane. You don't call his brother while your son is dying? People, make it make sense. The idea that Liam specifically begged Bill not to tell Wyatt just yet is one that is circulating on fan forums, and I believe it has some truth to it. Our altruistic Liam would want to keep his brother pain-free for as long as feasible. But in soap opera land, secrets are never kept hidden. What did I predict? Either Steffi or Hope will take action and get in touch with Wyatt directly. Because, after all, someone must. The Brooks-Darren factor. Let's take a moment to discuss the actual world. Since leaving B&B, Darren Brooks has been quite busy working on projects like The Roaring Game. However, soap actors return again and time again for unique tales, particularly ones with as much emotional resonance as this one. Brooks stated that his departure in 2024 was by for now, not by forever. "I'll be back when the story is right" is soap opera jargon. And really? No time will ever be more appropriate than now. The fan demand is also really high. Viewers are begging for Wyatt to return, and X is nearly on fire. If you don't trust me, just look at the hashtag bring back Wyatt. The possibility of heartbreak. I can hardly bring myself to write this, but here's the scenario: what if Wyatt doesn't return in time? What if Liam dies before his brother can say goodbye? The thought of that is making me cry. What a lost chance that would follow the Spencers for the rest of their lives. What if Wyatt shows up right before Liam's last moments? I apologize, but I don't think the situation could be handled by my heart. It would crush my heart in all the finest soap opera ways to see Scott Clifton and Darren Brooks together one last time, since they have always had this incredible brotherly chemistry. Up next? In my opinion, Wyatt's comeback is not only feasible, but unavoidable. The story potential is too vast, the emotional stakes are too great, and the brotherhood is too central to the show's plot. Next week, will he make a move? Next month? Is he going to arrive in time? And when the inevitable occurs, will grief keep him in Los Angeles if he does return? There is little doubt that the Spencer family is going to experience its darkest moment. And this soap opera world will never be the same again, whether Wyatt comes back or not. What are your thoughts? Is Wyatt expected to return? Do you want him to stay for a long time or come back for a quick farewell? Additionally, are you emotionally ready for this tragic plot's next turn? Because I most certainly am not. Liam Spencer's emotional apology tour was more of a genuine, atoning trip through the emotional devastation he had inflicted over the years, whether on purpose or not, than it was a publicity hoax. Liam knew that the days of self-delusion, deflection, and denial were over when he received a fatal diagnosis that hung over him like a storm cloud that would not go away. This was about facing the reality of who he had been and who he could still choose to be, not about making everyone forget the suffering he had caused. Now, stripped of pride, ego, and the justifications he used as armor, the man who had once swayed back and forth between Hope and Steffi like a pendulum caught in a love triangle was on the edge of life and death. Little things like quiet talks, impromptu visits, and long overdue admissions of remorse were the beginning. Liam didn't start out with a showy gesture or eloquent apology to Hope, the woman who had given him opportunity after opportunity. "I know what I put you through, and I'll never stop being sorry." Hope was paused not only by the words but also by the look in his eyes, which were wet with sincerity and exhausted. She refrained from crying. She took her time entering his embrace. However, she paid attention. And Liam offered her emotional clarity in that instant, which is more priceless than promises. His tour went on from there, and it focused on accountability as much as love. The next person he saw was Steffi. Both of them had been burned numerous times in their history, which was a conflagration of passion and bad timing. However, Liam acknowledged his role in the mayhem and spoke of the past in their private moment without nostalgia or longing. His voice trembled as he said, "You deserved better." Steffi, who was always strong and protective, let her walls down just enough to mutter, "I forgive you." It wasn't absolution, but it was enough. You deserved a man who knew how to choose without fear, who didn't let guilt and comfort dictate his heart. They cried for the weird, bittersweet beauty of finally understanding each other without expectations, as well as for what they had lost. Brooke and even Ridge followed. Liam engaged in conversations he had previously shunned, nodding when Brooke chastised him for failing to better safeguard Hope and silently concurring with Ridge when he suggested that Liam should consider the type of man he wanted to be for his daughter. He felt lighter after each conversation, but he was also emotionally tired, as if he were letting go of the bonds that bound him to selfish, fearful, and unsure situations. The encounter with Thomas was arguably the most surprising stop on Liam's apology tour. There had always been a barely disguised rivalry between them, a simmering tension that frequently threatened to explode. However, Liam, who was no longer constrained by the necessity of defending his area, sat opposite Thomas and made the unimaginable admission, "You were right about some things. I clung to Hope in ways that were unfair to both you and her." Thomas, taken by surprise, didn't respond with sarcasm or anger. "I was afraid she'd see a future with someone who wasn't me." Instead, he only stated, "All I ever wanted was honesty." They shook hands for the first time as men who had created grief and were now confronting it, rather than as adversaries or reluctant co-parents. Liam then went to see Bill. This was perhaps the most difficult. Liam had long avoided Bill Spencer, yet he was more than simply a parent, he was a mirror. They had a common name, a connection, and regrettably, a lot of the same shortcomings. Unsure of how to deal with the softer side of his son, Bill became defensively affectionate when Liam showed up. However, Liam didn't require extravagant displays. "I must apologize for retreating. For pointing the finger at you when I needed to examine myself." Ever the stoic titan, Bill was speechless. More than any apologies could convey, he just drew Liam into an embrace. 2 generations of imperfect men striving to ultimately meet in the middle remained that way for a long time. Wyatt even had his turn. After his brother had supported him through more crises than he could remember, Liam finally took the time to thank him without resorting to drama. He told Wyatt, "You were always there, even when I didn't deserve it." Wyatt gave him the traditional shrug and replied, "That's what brothers do." However, the most heartbreaking apology may have been given with a look rather than words, when Liam went to see Beth. Instead of talking about his mistakes, he knelt next to his daughter and said something he hoped she would never forget, "Your dad loved you more than anything." He wrote her a letter, too, full of regrets, dreams, and hope that she would grow up knowing her worth and never settle for someone uncertain, someone broken the way he had been. He also apologized for all the times he allowed that love to be obscured by fear. His apology tour did not, however, come without repercussions. Not everybody was prepared to extend forgiveness. Liam's homecoming and emotional clarity were perceived as a danger by Carter, who had intended to begin a genuine relationship with Hope. To anybody who would listen, Daphne whispered that Liam's tour was a ploy. Despite her moment of forgiveness, Steffi reminded herself that emotion wasn't a path to salvation and that Liam had repeatedly broken her heart. However, that didn't deter Liam. He was, for once, apologizing for peace rather than for forgiveness. For leaving behind something more positive than bewilderment and heartache. He didn't request another chance. All he wanted was for his loved ones to know that he had finally realized the harm he had caused and that, before his time was up, he had the guts to own it. Furthermore, it was the closest thing the bold and the beautiful had ever provided to redemption. On The Bold and the Beautiful, Hope Logan and Steffi Forrester's embrace was more than just a simple embrace, it was a turning point in the emotional tectonic plates that have long characterized the most tumultuous female rivalry on the show. After years of arguing over the same man, exchanging jabs in boardrooms and nurseries, and secretly questioning if either party could ever truly trust the other, the time had finally arrived. However, at this uncommon moment of strength and vulnerability meeting, both women took a daring, empowering step that rocked Los Angeles and made viewers wonder something they hadn't thought to ask in a long time: could Hope and Steffi truly become best friends? Longtime fans who have witnessed these two ladies at one another's throats may find it impossible, but turbulence is frequently the catalyst for transformation. And chaos that results in catharsis is what B&B excels at more than anyone else. Too long, Liam Spencer was at the heart of a never-ending triangle that pitted the fiery, independent Forrester against the kind, idealistic Logan, positioning Hope and Steffi as polar opposites. Even if they had different personalities, the core of their conflict was always one guy, one decision, and one fight for approval. However, the pettiness started to fade as a result of Liam's health issue and the impending death of everyone. All of a sudden, it didn't matter who Liam loved more. It was about finally deciding to put unity ahead of rivalry and standing with the father of their children. That unplanned, unguarded, and tearful embrace wasn't merely a consoling moment. The message was clear: these ladies are tired of being compared to one another. They are opting for peace. And perhaps that's why this possible friendship is so intriguing. These ladies have experienced loss, betrayal, and heartache. They are not naive girls. They have actual scars. Their suffering is real. However, their willingness to bridge the gap despite having witnessed each other's darkest moments is what gives them their current strength. Hope is aware of the pain of losing a child. Steffi is familiar with the struggles of addiction and postpartum depression. Both understand how difficult it is to love someone who is unable to make up his mind, as well as what it's like to raise kids in broken homes. The thought of Hope and Steffi being best friends is more than simply fan fiction because of their common experience. This sisterhood formed in fire. It makes it essential. There will undoubtedly be challenges. Both old wounds and old habits die hard. Both women will find it difficult to forget the innumerable betrayals, the insults that were whispered, or the occasions when they regarded one another with disdain and jealousy. However, growth entails comprehending rather than forgetting. Finally, Hope and Steffi are at a point where they want to understand one another rather than compete with one another. Instead of lashing out, they're prepared to lean in. Everything is changing because of that maturity. If these two women united their skills, just think of how strong they would be. Hope's attention to detail, marketing acumen, and enthusiasm for eco-friendly fashion are admirable. Steffi, with her fiery confidence, no-nonsense leadership, and devotion to the family legacy. They could rule the fashion industry together. They may work together to co-lead Forrester in a way that benefits both the company and themselves. Imagine a collaborative line called Logan X Forrester that is based on resiliency rather than competitiveness. Imagine them co-parenting Kelly and Beth with sincere laughing instead of passive-aggressive smiles. Imagine them going out for drinks, sharing their frustrations about guys who never deserved them, and helping each other deal with life's messiness. It's evolution rather than just girl power. Not everyone would be overjoyed, though. Given her own connection to the Forrester family, Brooke might find it difficult to accept the notion of her daughter developing a bond with one. Taylor can be wary of the developing friendship since he wonders what Hope's real intentions are. Liam, the man who paradoxically kept them at odds for so long, may feel as though he is no longer at the center of either woman's existence, while Ridge may be proud but doubtful. That's what makes it so beautiful. The cycle is broken by a Hope-Steffi partnership. It changes the focus of the story from which lady wins the man to what happens when women finally stop competing and begin working together. And the possibilities for the plot are endless if the authors really embrace this. They might face a shared foe, such as a driven new designer who seeks to pit them against one another. When one of their girls is harassed or has problems at school, they may support each other. They could provide romantic support to one another, urging one another to find love without making the same mistakes twice. In the most poetic turn of events, they might one day chuckle about all the times they almost got into a fight with a man who was never deserving of either of them. Hope and Steffi's embrace did not make their history disappear. They weren't instantly best buddies as a result. However, it paved the way for something strong and empowering. It meant that the old rules were no longer applicable to these women. The script is being rewritten. They are opting for recovery. And if a genuine friendship results from that? One based on vulnerability, respect for one another, and solidarity? The Bold and the Beautiful will then have provided its viewers with a female friendship worth supporting, which is more enduring than any sexual relationship.